Are you struggling to stay consistent with your goals? In today's video, I would love to help you find your flow in 2025. This means building habits, routines, and consistently committing to your dreams. We will explore how simplifying your productivity with Akiflow can turn endless planning into effortless execution, helping you show up for your goals, relationship, and overall well-being every single day. Welcome in. My name is Rosanna. I'm a content creator and healthy productivity fanatic. And something that I love to do on this channel is finding tools that help you build a system that works for you. I'll show you how Akiflow works, why it's a great tool for people without any productivity system, and why it is even a better tool for people that already have a productivity system in place. This specifically ties to things like Notion, Gmail, Google Calendar, basically any app you're already using to keep track of your productivity and your time. This tool will seamlessly integrate with all of them, meaning you don't need to start over or make a huge switch, but you can literally use Akiflow in addition to your already existing system, or if you don't have a system at all yet, it is a great place to start building it. So let's dive in and let me show you around Akiflow and how you can actually start managing your day-to-day habits, your routines, your time blocking, and your task management. So welcome to Akiflow. This is actually your central hub where you would be managing your day-to-day time blocking, your day-to-day planning, and basically everything that you need to get going with working on your goals instead of just planning for them. I currently have it set up in dark mode, as you can see, because it's nice for my eyes. And actually, one of the things I like is that there's enough contrast for me to read it. Light mode is actually for a lot of people an accessibility feature because a lot of tools with dark mode unfortunately do not offer enough contrast for people to properly read it. And I really like that Akiflow has it nailed to the T where I can actually read it really well in dark mode. But if you're interested, there is also a light mode available and different other colorways, so you can customize it so that it looks like something that you enjoy using, looking at, because let's be real, even if something is functional, aesthetics do help. Basically, if you open your Akiflow, the basic interface on your left-hand side, just like many tools, you'll actually have your menu. You can show your inbox, your today view, your upcoming, and all your tasks. I will walk you guys through what we're seeing here in more detail in a little bit, but I just want to make sure that you get a lay of the land and understand what you're seeing on my screen. Basically, right next to that, you have your today view. Your today view includes everything that is overdue from previous days. It includes everything that is scheduled on your calendar for today, and you have a little list of what is done. And then to the right hand side of that, you actually have your calendar. You can view this calendar in different ways, so you can see the entire week. You can just see one day if you don't want to get overwhelmed. This is great for people that have like really busy days and just really truly want to stay in focus mode. And then to the right hand side, you actually have your calendar, which you can also change a little bit on how it looks. So if you do Control-T, this is actually something that's really nice. There's a lot of keyboard shortcuts in your Akiflow setup, so I would highly recommend, if you're going to use this tool, to take some time to learn all the keyboard shortcuts because it greatly helps you in navigating quickly. But if you want to go to your today view, you can also do Control-T. You can actually switch, so you can like click through your days and then go back to your today view with Control-T. You can actually change which calendars are visible here. So as you can see, I have synced all my Google calendars. It automatically takes the color coding from there as well, which is great because this way you can actually combine everything from all of your systems in Akiflow. As you can see, all of my tasks have a little Notion symbol. This means that they're coming from my task database in Notion, and it allows me to very easily like plan out my day because I can basically use my time blocks from my Google Calendar, which aren't necessarily just time blocks, but also like appointments, like my co-working streams. They're basically just a big time block for me that I'll be working in, and those are scheduled in my calendar. But this way I can actually move tasks and you can see that I'm like working on specific things in that specific time. You can also change the view that you have here to seeing 2 days, to seeing an entire week, to even seeing an entire month and quickly seeing all the things that you have in your calendar. You can hide your weekends, you can show declined events, and you can show your done tasks. Basically, this allows you great control over how you are viewing your day. And something that is really important to me is the fact that you can see just one single day, because I feel like this is great for people that need more focus to their day. They don't want to be distracted with everything that's going on, but then you can very quickly switch to a week view to actually see everything that you need to do that specific week. Then you also have your projects and tags. Just like most productivity systems these days, you can actually create projects and you can actually create tasks. This helps you greatly in organizing your work. You can see that a lot of my tasks here today actually have my content label. And then there is also a feature that they have in this tool, which actually uses AI, based on the work that you have done in Akiflow, it will automatically assign projects to your tasks. This way, eventually, if you continue to use the system more and more, it will slowly start to learn your behavior. In this case, it actually said that this is work. I know that it's content, but journaling and habits is definitely a private task, and uploading my schedule is definitely a content task. So it is 100% like learning already based on the behavior that I put into this. And from here, it will just continue to learn. And that way, labeling and eventually keeping track of what types of work you're spending your time on will eventually become easier and easier, because it just literally, the system helps you do it for you. So there are a couple of different things that I really like about Akiflow. Apart from being able to connect to a bunch of tools, and literally that list is very long. They connect to so many productivity tools out there, which allow you for such easy management of like all of your productivity systems in one place. I would say that you can use so many things. Like you can use your calendar to keep track of your time, and you can use your Notion to like work on like really big projects and add all your tasks and like link it to other databases, etc. But then if you're looking for something that brings like the simplicity back of just using a good to-do list, then Akiflow is going to come in so clutch, because it literally takes all that information and bundles it into this single overview, which offers you different views of your tasks as well, because you can also check the upcoming one. And this is basically just a big board, which you can also like say view all of my planned tasks, and then you can see all of the things you've already planned. There might be things that you can drag over from here so that you can like move things around. But again, it offers you different views of the same information, which I feel like for a lot of us is actually extremely useful in trying to take control and stay on top of our information. Seeing the information on the same view every single day is eventually going to lead you to being blind to certain things, and it's actually really nice to be able to see it this way. Then you can also go to your all tasks overview, which also includes like all the tasks that don't have a specific date. So from here, you can actually drag things onto your calendar. As you can see, there's a bunch of things in here. These are all the backlog tasks from my Notion database. So these are all the things that don't have a doing date, but they do need to happen at one point. And from here, I can very easily drag them onto my calendar. So it also makes the entire planning process of backlog things easier. Something that I also really wanted to show you is how you can actually get emails on your to-do list. So I quickly went into my email box and I checked that there is actually a YouTube comment that I got a notification from and that I really want to reply to, because this person actually asked a good question. What you do is you basically just add a little label, just like a Gmail label or Gmail tag that says Akiflow, and then it will automatically fetch all of the emails from Akiflow into your Akiflow setup. And then as you can see from here, I can just see, okay, so let's go back to my today view, because I'm curious if I would have time today somewhere to answer this email. I can drag it onto my actual day view from here, and then I can also click on it, and I can from here like open the email in a new browser tab. So this way I can literally just go through my to-do list and be like, I needed to answer that email, or I needed to pick up that comment. I can click here, go to the email, and just immediately pick it up. You can do that for all of your Notion tasks. And like I said, there is so many things that they integrate with. If you actually go to your integrations page, as you can see, there is like a whole list of integrations that they have available. So they even have things like Discord and stuff using if this then that, which allows you to add so many of your information flows into this one singular point of contact, which will then allow you to actually manage your day-to-day to-dos. Then if you actually want to change the colors, like I earlier mentioned, that it automatically syncs the colors from your Google Calendar, but if you still want to have different colors because you think it looks better in the dark setup, you can also change all the colors, meaning that, again, you can fully customize the way that you see your calendar. Then there's a couple of other really great features that I would love to show you, and that is, speaking of nice colors, time blocking is really, really, really nice. So as you can see, as soon as I drag something onto the calendar, there's a couple of options that we can select. So we can either say that this is a task, something that we need to do. So you can also natively manage tasks in your Akiflow. You don't have to have, and that's what I meant with, you can start using this if you don't have a productivity system at all. You can use this just from the get-go and use this as your actual to-do list app. Then you can also schedule an event, which would sync to your actual calendar. So you can also schedule events into your Google Calendar from here, or you can select what they call a slot. And this is basically time blocking. This is amazing for if you are someone that's a bit scatterbrained and you want to like really get on top of your time. You can create time blocks where you say like, okay, for these 3 hours, I really want to work. And then what you can do is you can actually drag tasks from your list into this time block, which will mean that if you click on here, you can see in this time block, I have scheduled to do these and these things. I'm quickly gonna like drag it back because I want to make sure that it's not scheduled on Wednesday the 29th because that's already in the past. This is actually something that I need to do somewhere later today. I need to do this all the way at the end of my stream. So let's put it back in my calendar where it belongs. But as you can see, it was super easy for me to just drag something from here into the work block. And this is a great way if you're trying to stay on top of your task. You want to use that time blocking feature, but you also want to use the power of actually then like adding tasks into that time block. Something that I really like is, let me just add like some quick like test tasks. As you can see, it automatically scheduled everything for 30 minutes, but you could also like change. So that one might take like 15 minutes, this one 45, this one might even take like an hour. And that way you can actually like kind of keep track of, okay, so this together is 2 hours, this block is 3 hours. So you can kind of like figure out if your time block fits the time that you have scheduled within it. You can also see that there are some things over here. It immediately popped up in overdue because, well, I scheduled it in the past, which obviously isn't great. I just want to kind of give you the example of how this would work and how easy it is. This is also a great way, again, if you don't have an external system where your tasks are already stored, you can just very easily make your time blocks and then literally write like your little to-do list of what you want to do in that time block. If you delete a time slot, you can also decide to just delete the slot or delete all the tasks within it. So let's say that you plan something, but all your plans fall through, you can just very easily clean up your calendar as well. Then there's another feature that I really like, which is what they call rituals. I would call it a routine. So if I mess up the words, please forgive me. But there is a daily planning ritual, there is a daily shutdown ritual, a weekly planning, and a weekly shutdown. So let's actually do our daily planning. Let's say that you're actually starting your day. Then they have this little setup that you can walk through every single day at the beginning of your day. And then they also have one that you can do weekly or at the end of your day, and it's a very similar concept. So they will do like a little recap from yesterday. So yesterday I actually finished 12 tasks. I spent 10 hours and 45 minutes on content things. I spent an hour on private things and 30 minutes on work things. Most of the things that I did were solo events that came from my Google Calendar. So you can basically like see where all of your events are coming from. If you also have things scheduled specifically in Akiflow, you can quickly give the day like a little rating. So yesterday was actually a pretty good day. So let me rate that. You can see what I did yesterday and like what is left over. So all the things that I've done, the things that are still overdue from yesterday. And I really like this because I feel like this is also a way of celebrating what you've done the day prior as you are getting started for your new day. And I think this is so useful for anyone who's like even remotely neurospicy, and just in general, I think for everyone, but like that getting that little dopamine boost of being like, damn, that's what I did yesterday, and using that energy to go into your next day is absolutely amazing. Then you can click on next and you can actually plan your day. So what you can see is over here, you can see today's tasks. I already have like content scheduled, and it says that my content altogether will take me 16 hours and 15 minutes. That probably means that I've overscheduled myself a little bit. That is because I haven't really set up all the perfect durations for all of my tasks. So some of them are set up to take like 1.5 hours, 30 minutes, even though I already know they only take like 5. So I need to get better at my time blocking as well. But you know, it's a learning process. It's a learning curve. But you can actually see like what you want to achieve today. So you can see the things that are already scheduled. You can from here quickly also see the things that are actually in your inbox. So this can be emails. So I would also say that if you are using Akiflow, like first kind of go through your mailbox, label all the things that you want to pick up later, and then kind of maybe read through all your other apps that you have connected, and then kind of take this as your wrap up or your finisher of getting ready for the day, because then everything will show up in your inbox. Like all of the things that you have synced to your Akiflow will just show up here. And from there, you can decide, okay, what is in my inbox that I actually need to pick up today? And then you can actually drag it into your today view, or you can even say like, oh, I'm actually going to move it to somewhere later this week. And you can always see the calendar view on the right-hand side as well. You can also immediately plan when you want to do your daily shutdown. So let's say at 11 p.m. I actually want to do my daily shutdown, so I can add it to my calendar. That way Akiflow around 11 p.m. will also tell me, hey, look, you know, don't forget it's time for your daily shutdown. And then from here, you can be like, okay, I've actually scheduled my day. Everything is time blocked. So you can also from here, like drag things onto your calendar. And this is like the best way to start your day, because you'll immediately know what you're going to do that day. If you're a person that plans per week, like I am, you will probably not use this every single day, but you will actually use the weekly planner feature, which, like I said, the weekly ritual, like the weekly planning, is very similar to what I've just shown you. So you have this, you can actually rate every single day. So it is exactly the same setup, just on a weekly perspective rather than a daily perspective. So you'll see your weekly calendar, which you can also drag out. Like if you're like, oh, actually I need a bit more space for my calendar, you can just drag it and then you can navigate through it that way. You can see all of the things you've done in the past week. Again, super nice way to stay on top of your weekly planning and your weekly shutdown. The weekly shutdown is very much similar to what you've just seen, but then instead of with a focus on planning your next day ahead, it's basically showing you what has happened last week. Is there anything that carries over, etc., etc. Then something that I feel like a lot of you might question if you're seeing this is, how does it relate to Notion Calendar, and like what are the main differences and why would I use this compared to Notion Calendar? I think the biggest upside to this is either if you are a user of multiple productivity tools, so if you are also having maybe like a shared to-do list with your partner in Todoist, and maybe you have your Gmail and you have like multiple email accounts, or you like for work you're using maybe like Trello, or you're using your Outlook calendar and your Outlook mail as your task list. Like this is perfect for people that already have multiple inputs. So that would be like one part. Or if you are not enjoying Notion Calendar, I know that not everyone's super happy with it, I think Akiflow might be like a really great alternative for still being able to have your Notion database as a task database and sync it to like a place where you can time block for it. Again, Akiflow would be an additional tool, and I feel like that's one of the main things that people don't like about Notion Calendar. It's not embedded into Notion. So then I would say if you're already going to use an external tool, then I think Akiflow can do a lot more than Notion Calendar can do. So if that's what you're looking for, then this is absolutely perfect. I think something that I also really like about Akiflow is if you're not a Notion user, but you're still looking for a lot of the like time blocking and productivity things, but you are a user of Gmail and Outlook, etc. This is, again, it's like it's not tied to Notion. I just use it because I'm also already building my productivity system in Notion. But I feel like it's a really nice thing where you can use it no matter what tool you're already using. And Notion Calendar obviously is very limited to just using it if you are already using Notion. Otherwise, it doesn't hold much value compared to Google Calendar or something like that. I personally really like the fact that I can sync everything in here. If I tick things off in here, it will automatically update the status, and that is fully customizable. So if you go into your integrations and you go into your workspace, you can actually configure your database, and you can actually say, like, if I mark it done in Akiflow, what will happen in marking it done in Notion, and like if I mark it, or if I change the status to undone or anything, what will happen into Notion. So like the sync is two-way, and it's like you get to customize what you want your Notion to behave like when Akiflow is telling it something. You can select which databases it needs to sync. So even if you're using like a team database and a private database, you can all still add it to your Akiflow account. And I think this is something that is super useful because it allows you to fully customize how the setup works. Whereas I feel like some other tools that might be able to do similar things will just have a default, which doesn't always connect to how you set up your Notion system, because Notion is highly customizable. Then I also really like that you can still have all your labels in Akiflow as well, even if you're already using a labeling system in Notion. So I think that's also great for being able to kind of like keep your time blocks tidy and make sure that you're only scheduling like content tasks or work tasks in your work time blocks and stuff like that. It's just a nice thing that you still have it in Akiflow, and that Akiflow is also using the AI part to kind of help you with labeling things correctly, because I think in the end that's going to save you a lot of time rather than having to do everything manually. Because I love the saying, like, why do it yourself if you can automate it? That's so true in this case. Then something else that I think is a huge feature for so many people is that Akiflow actually works offline. Obviously, to sync it to all your productivity tools, you are going to need an internet connection. But if you take your Akiflow on your phone, or if you take your Akiflow on your computer and you temporarily don't have a connection, that doesn't mean the tool doesn't work. You can still continue to do your work. It will save all the information and changes that you've made. And as soon as you have a connection again, it will sync it to all the other tools. And then something that I really like on top of all of this that's already here is if you are a person who needs to schedule things with other people, then you can actually send a little availability thing, and then you can select in your calendar what time slots would be available for people. So let's say I have my Wednesday and this time slot, and then maybe on my Saturday morning I also have some time, and then from here I can actually share this with a person and be like, oh, you want to have a chat with me? Let's find a time to meet. And then you can say the duration will be 30 minutes, or you can change it to whatever amount of minutes you have. And then you can save a copy, or you can actually share a link. And you can also even make this recurring, so you can be like, every single Wednesday we can have this time slot available. And then you can send it to someone and they can book something in your calendar. And this is huge for if you're trying to accommodate a meeting with many people, or if you're trying to like really stay on top of all of your time blocks. You can like make sure to have little meeting time blocks in your calendar, and then you can share that with other people so that they can claim that time in your calendar. This is huge for anyone who's working with customers, anyone who's trying to make sure that their time doesn't get like eaten up by meetings that they don't want to have in those spots. And this is just like another additional feature that Akiflow would have been great without it. And then adding this, it's like making it even that next level of, you know, you're not just staying on top of your schedule, but you're also allowing your schedule to allow others to stay on top of your schedule, basically, if that makes any sense. I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you guys about Akiflow today. So if you want to get your life together and you want to stop feeling overwhelmed, please make sure to give Akiflow a try today. I have linked their tool in the description down below, and I would love to hear in the comments which feature you are excited about most. And I want to give a huge shout out to Akiflow for sponsoring today's video and for working with me for a second time on this channel. I really genuinely love tools like this, and I think they bring great value for you guys as well. So I'm super happy that I got to yap about the power of Akiflow again on this channel. And if this video was useful to you, and if it was a great introduction to the tool for you, please toss the video a cheeky like, because it does really help me and my channel. And speaking of said channel, if you're interested in more productivity related videos, lifestyle vlogs, stuff like that, feel free to check out my channel. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone!